Good evening, everyone. So, today we will start chapter 1 of ncert Standard 11, The Living World. The living. What do you mean by living? Living means the organism which grow, which reproduce, which have the ability to sense environment, and one which has response to its surrounding. So, when we try to define living, we conventionally look for distinctive characteristic of exhibited by living organisms. Growth, reproduction, ability to sense environment, and mount to a suitable response come to our mind immediately as living features of living organisms. So these are the features of living organisms. So let us come to know about these all things. So first we will start this all by one, and another sentence is left, so let us study about this sentence also. One can add a few more features like metabolism, ability to self-replicate, self-organize, interact, and emergence to this list. So one can add a few more features like metabolism. What do you mean by metabolism? Metabolism means the process by which the organism transforms its food particles into energy inside their body. So this function is known as metabolism. The next is ability to self-replicate, means one organism can give rise or birth to one or more organism, or replicate to become two or more organism. If one organism reproduce another organism without interacting with other organism or another organism, then it is known as self-replicate. Self-organize means different organism, so this is self-replicate. Now let's come to the next point, self-organize. Self-organize means different organisms have organization, such as human beings have two hands and two legs, and animals have four legs. This is how different organisms defines its own different organs. So this is the feature of self organize. They can organize throughout their own self. So self organize is one of the feature of living organism. Now let's come to the next point, interact. Interact means living organism interact with another living organism. It is another feature of living organism. So interact is also a feature of living organism. So I have told you that today we will discuss about living organisms features, and they are at first as growth. First point, as growth. What do you mean by growth? All living organisms grow, increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristics of growth. If one body has mass 1 kg and if it increases after 1 week as 4 kg, then it is increase in mass, and in increase in number of individual means if one organism reproduce, it means reproduce two organisms. If one organism reproduce two organisms, it means it increase in number of individuals. So these two characteristics are the characteristic of growth. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. We have learned before in standard 9 that cell used to divide either by meiosis or by mitosis. So in that manner, multicellular organisms grows by cell division, either by meiosis or by mitosis. In plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. In plants, but in animals, not plants, but in animals, it occurs up to a certain stage. This is due to the reason that growth occurs up to a certain age, after which cells divide only to replace worn out or lost cells. Due to this, animals grow up to a certain age. So, however, cell division occurs in certain tissue to replace lost cells. In some tissues, there are many kind of cells, but those cells replace into new cells, and the older one get lost. So this is the meaning of the sentence, that cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace lost cells. Unicellular organisms grow by cell division. Unicellular organisms grow by cell division. Now, as it, as one individual has one cell, and when it replicates, it gives rise to two cells. So if one individual has one cell, it get replicate and give rise to individual, and it give two individual of each of one cell. So see, this is the picture of unicellular organism. So this is one unicellular organism. When it get replicate, it divides into two cells, means this one becomes half one. If it is 2n, then it is n, but this cell is n and this cell is n. It gets replicate and becomes two single celled organism each and these two individual have one cell each, and each two individual has one cell. Okay, so this is the picture how it is giving. So now let's see next thing, unicellular organism. This is the unicellular organization. When it's replicate, it give birth to two organism, and two organism of each two organism have one cell. This is how unicellular organism grow by cell division. So next point is one can easily observe. This is in vitro culture by simply by counting the number of cells under the microscope. So let us come let us first come to the in vitro culture. What do you mean by in vitro culture? In vitro culture is a method applied for growth and development of plant cells, tissues and organs that uses a nutritive culture medium under controlled sterilized conditions. Plants which are kept in laboratories or the plants which cannot grow properly are cultured in vitro culture and they are used to grow. So one can easily observe this in vitro culture and simply counting the number of cells under the microscope. So during in vitro culture, when you keep under the microscope one cell of a plant, then you can easily observe this in microscope. So next sentence, in majority of higher animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. So in majority of higher animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. Here it means it is the feature of higher animals and plants. Growth and reproduction is the common feature of higher animals and plants. One must remember that increase in body mass is considered as growth. I have told you earlier also that if one day 1 kg of ball increase into 5 kg in 3 days, that means it is increasing in mass, and if it is increasing in mass, that means it is increasing in weight. So that increasing in weight as increasing in mass is also part of a feature of growth. So one must remember that increase in body mass is considered as growth. Non-living objects also grow if we take increase in body mass as a criterion for growth. We have heard that non-living organism does not grow, but living organism grow. But no, now science is telling that non-living organism do grow. It is how, let us talk about it. So as the manner when non-living organism increase in mass, such as if there is a mountain of big stone with presence of soil and trees, then the trees grow and automatically the mass of the mountain also do grow. And sand also grow by accumulation, and in sand and in place of sand also grow by accumulation of minerals present on the ground. It happens in very rare part of the ground, especially near seas and oceans. That's why mountains, boulders and sand mounds do grow. This is how non-living things grow. So non-living objects also grow as we take in increase in body mass as a criterion for growth. Mountains, boulders and sand mounds do grow. So there is growth in the sand mounds. So this is how mountains, boulders and sand mounds grow. However, this kind of growth exhibited by non-living objects by accumulation of material on the surface. So this one I have told you that when they accumulate minerals, sand and soil, the non-living objects on their surface, they used to grow on the ground. In living organism, growth is from inside. So it is very common thing as we have learned before that living organism grows from inside. Now let's come to in the next statement, growth therefore cannot be taken as a defining property of living organisms. So there are as we have seen that growth not only occurs in living organisms, it also occurs in non-living organisms. So it cannot be taken as a defining property of living organisms. Conditions under which it can be observed in all living organisms have to be explained, and then we understand that it is a characteristic of living system. A dead organism does not grow. So a dead organism never grow, and this is the end of the topic today's. Have a good day and a good luck. Bye. Thank you.